had a problem. Had to rent a truck. You never ever tell somebody your truck is doing well. Bad news. What's going on, guys? So yes, from the beginning of the video here, you can probably see that I'm not in my Freightliner. There's a very good reason to that. It's in the shop. Well, I blew the differential. It was low on fluid, and what had happened was there was a leak that had sprung up on the front plate of the front differential, and I didn't notice it. I don't know how fast it sprung up, but it was there. You know, when I pick up my truck at the beginning of the week, I don't have a trailer hooked up to it. So I do a very thorough inspection of my truck when I pick it up to start the week. Because like I said, since I don't have a trailer hooked up to it, I can look a lot more closely at the axles and things like that, at the wheel bearings, at the, you know, not the wheel bearings, but the wheel seals, the axle seals, things like that. I can get a pretty good look at everything, make sure there's no leaks. You know, I can look at the brakes, make sure they're not wet from a leaky axle seal, stuff like that. So I'm very thorough. And then when the trailer's on, you can't get quite as good of a look, you know. When I looked at it before I picked up a trailer earlier in the week, it was fine. It wasn't leaking. And then, you know, once I have the trailer hooked up, I basically just kind of look for pools of fluid under the truck as I walk up to it, and when I do my pre-trip, I'll look under a little more thoroughly, you know. But I didn't see anything on the differential, so I'll take a lot of blame for it. It was a screw up, but you live and learn. It's a very expensive lesson, I'll say that. I made it to the TA, and because it was low on fluid, you know, once I got a really good look and I was really looking close at it because I knew something was wrong, I could see that it was leaking a little bit coming down the front of the differential. And there's a plate, like I said, on the front of the differential, and the gasket around that plate, it was just bad. And it was coming out of the top of that plate, right beneath the pinion seal. I parked it the night before, and it was perfect. I mean, all day long, it drove perfectly fine. And then the next day, you know, I was, when I, you know, got on the road with it, and I heard a little whine, and then I noticed the temperature gauge going up. You know, it had that dry gear whine. Once I was at the TA, I had them put some fluid in, and it was 9 pints low. They put the fluid in, I backed up, and as soon as I backed up, it sounded better. And I put it in third gear, and I decided, you know what, if it's gonna break, I want it to break in a safe spot, like the TA. Didn't want it to be on the side of the road, you know, under a trailer where a tow truck would have trouble getting to me. Yeah, I went ahead and put it in third gear, got it up to about 1,500 RPMs, and immediately let off the accelerator. When you do that, you create a little bit of a shock in the drive line. Well, a healthy drive line is not going to affect it. You know what I mean? It's not going to hurt it. But if it's not a healthy drive line, something can break because of that initial shock. And again, like I said, if it was going to break that easily, it was going to break going down the road. And sure enough, and I heard a bang bang, and the truck came to a stop. Wouldn't roll anymore. Even if I gave it some accelerator, even if I you know, pressed the accelerator down a little bit, didn't want to move. So you know, being that it was the front differential, it's not the main differential, it's not the main drive axle. That's the rear axle on this truck. But you can't lock in the divider because it all runs through the center axle, or the front axle, the front differential. So there wasn't anything I could do. The company I'm leased to, she has a couple of wrecker companies that she deals with, and she got a hold of one of them, and they hooked up to one of her trucks, which is the one that was in the beginning of the video, and they towed it about 180 miles up to where I was. Funny enough, the tow truck broke down. So I guess a clamp on the air-to-air failed. So that was a very simple fix. But he made it to me, dropped off this blue truck, took my truck, dropped it off at my shop in Troy there, where I park the truck and have all the work done to it. And he has a guy who rebuilds rear ends, and he got the number off, and I guess it's a rare rear end on my truck. Go figure. It's a rare, hard to come by rear end. The guy he uses normally has already rebuilt rear ends ready to go on the shelf, but not this case. And I even called around a few places to see if they had any used ones that were in stock that I could buy the rear end out of. Didn't have any. They were just too hard to find. It was an RT40 331 Mercedes rear end. Pretty hard to come by, apparently. So he didn't have a spare, or one ready to go that was rebuilt. So we had to go ahead and start. We told him, I gave him the go-ahead when I couldn't find a used one anywhere. And the benefit to the rebuilt is I'm going to have a 1 year unlimited mile warranty. So that's definitely a plus. Definitely a lot of money. The differential, just the differential, no labor, no oil, no extra parts that failed, no nothing, just the differential, $4,000. And then with labor and oil and wheel bearings, of course, it got so hot that it destroyed the wheel bearings. The wheel bearings, all that stuff. The total is going to be a little over $6,000. On top of that, I went ahead and decided, you know what, while it's in the shop. So, they're taking out the DPF filters and sending those out to get baked. Oh, yeah. And then the coolant tank. Yeah, right. As my last video ended, basically, it was leaking coolant pretty badly. And I had already ordered a coolant reservoir to be delivered to my shop. The moral of the story is, don't ever tell anybody that your truck is running well, because every time I do, you'd think I'd learned my lesson by now. Every time I do, it breaks. Every time. It's usually just a coolant leak. Somebody asked me on the CB, hey, how's your truck running? I said, doing pretty good. Next day, sprung a leak in the coolant reservoir. And I thought, well, if that's all that happens, no big deal. Coolant reservoirs are cheap. Labor's easy. No big deal. Shouldn't have said that. 2 days later, my differential blows up. So, yeah, that's being an owner-operator, I guess. The tow bill was $1,300. So, all in all, we're going to be right up once everything's said and done, plus the extra little things I'm doing to the truck while it's there, including the DPF filters. It's going to be a 5-digit bill. It happens, That's what happens out here, man. Crap happens. You can't catch every little thing sometimes. It's over and done with. I don't really have a lot more to say about it, I guess. But that's why I'm in this truck temporarily. And ironically, this is the truck, too, that you saw me at the beginning of the last video pulling out from under another trailer. I should have seen that as a foresight into things to come, I guess. It is what it is. Good morning, guys. Yep. Time to get up and start the day. And got a load to go pick up right now, so we'll head on over there and get that load picked up. Frozen bread. Nice and light load. Let's go ahead and get at it and get the morning started. Might need that to help pay for the truck. I don't really want to go have an interview right now, though. They don't want to see me before I've had my coffee. Let's go ahead and be a little bit productive and go pre-cool the trailer to, or at least get it started to cool. I got to set it for -10 for this bread load, so let's go get that cooled off, or started getting cooled off on this 30-minute drive ahead of me to go pick it up. Make sure the differential's not leaking. checked in and came out here, had a sneezing fit. This is not the time you want to sneeze in public, people. You will be shunned from society. You will be shunned from society if you sneeze this day and age. I don't know what the hell that was. It's about 60 degrees out. Maybe my allergies are kicking in today. I don't know. But yeah, sneezed like 4 times in a row. Again, it really is amazing though how it's, you know, you sneeze like that anymore and you look around like, oh my God, did somebody see that? Am I going to get in trouble? Oh God, I don't know what to do. You can't sneeze in public anymore. All right, good news. My truck is ready to go. It is Wednesday morning now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this trailer off here. We're going to bobtail back to the yard where this truck came from. And then we're going to go ahead, get in my car and the Lexus, come back here and get back in my truck, hook up to this trailer, and then go pick up some eggs. So, yeah, good. I'm just glad that my truck's finally good to go. This is when you always want to run through a checklist in your head to make sure you did everything before you pull out.
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Damn it, Dwight.
I pulled the 5th wheel. Check. I removed 2 airlines and the electrical cord. Check. I lowered the landing gear. Check. Should be all safe to pull out. Here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and transfer all my stuff over into the Lexus from the truck, and we'll go back and pick my truck up. I spent all day one day detailing the inside of this car, this Lexus. And the next day I took the kids out in it for a day. And doesn't even look like it's been detailed anymore. Let's go get my stuff and put it from my truck into here so we can go pick up my truck. Not her truck anymore, my truck. And go pick up my load and start heading east. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous about this one. This is the biggest job I've had done on this truck in one sitting. I mean, it's a bunch of multiple jobs really. I had the transmission rebuilt that one time, but you know, I've got the differential that's rebuilt, and then I've also got the diesel particulate filters that were cleaned and baked, and they checked out okay. But this is the first time I've had them baked. I'm wondering, it's the first time I've had them cleaned at all since I bought the truck. And the truck had 460,000 miles on it when I bought it, and I've put almost 300,000 miles on that truck since I bought it. And that was just a hair over 2 years ago. So that many miles on that truck, you know, I don't know for sure if the DPF filters were ever even cleaned before I bought it. But if they had been, then apparently, you know, they're really only good for 100 to 150,000 miles before they need cleaned again. So it's definitely surpassed the amount of time I should have given it before I had them baked. Basically, I'm going to see if it runs more like it did when I bought it, simply by having those DEF filters cleaned. Every time I say DEF filter, I feel like it's redundant. diesel particulate filter. It's like saying diesel particulate filter. But you know what I mean. I'm just kind of anxious to see how that works. I'm still 90% sure that I'll probably get that check engine light. Once you start getting that code on these trucks, it seems like it never stops. It never stops short of buying a whole new one box. And I'll delete it before I buy a whole new one box. That's about $13,000 for a new one box. So I will definitely delete it before I buy a new one box. All right, we got it back. Yeah, we'll go over the bill a little later. So we got the truck back. Got a nice new differential on there now. Along with some freshly cleaned filters. So I'll get all my stuff thrown back in the truck here and see how she runs. So right now I need to go ahead and try to winterize this motorhome before it gets too cold out. So I got this stuff here, and just gonna winterize it. Try to get it ready here before I leave if I have time. So we'll give her a shot. That's what I'm gonna do now anyway. She got pink coming out of the shower, the outdoor shower, so that means it's coming through there. Let's go check the inside, see if it's coming out of the faucets inside the camper, and then we should be good to go. That's what we want to see right there. So you got the pink right in there. That's it. Cool. Of course, we got these dryer sheets everywhere because it helps keep mice out, and it smells very good in here. One more look at that differential. Oh, she's so pretty. So pretty. She appears to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go hook up to this trailer, and then I gotta get a little fuel. Obviously, I was going to get fuel, but then the truck broke down. It had to be towed, so I wasn't able to get fuel, and now it's on fumes. So I really got to get some fuel. You know, they were doing some regens for the DPF filters and whatnot, and that dragged the fuel down a bit. But we'll go ahead and get that done. Anybody with a Freightliner, I think they would probably know why I've got that rag right there on a rainy day. Right? Right. You know, it's strange. You don't officially feel relieved after an expensive breakdown until you're loaded with that first load and you get rolling. I think the biggest culprit is the fact that you have such a large deficit now that you need to replenish after you have just spent, which I'll go over the bill eventually about everything that was replaced, but after just spending in total, including the truck rental, about $12,000. Yeah, you just kind of, you don't feel relieved until you're on the road. I wanted to get this load yesterday. That was the whole, I was going to get this load yesterday. I'm now, it's been a hell of a week, man. I'm out $3,000 now on top of the repair bill because I was supposed to pick this load up yesterday, and this place requires, it's a direct customer of ours, it's an egg load, and they require a washout. No matter how clean or dirty the reefer is, they require a washout. They require proof of a washout with the receipt. I got to the washout yesterday with one truck ahead of me. That one truck just so happened to have been carrying trees and bushes, and it took 3 hours to wash out his trailer. And because of that, I arrived here 30 minutes late last night, and they'd closed up, they'd gone home, and I had to go park it for the night and come back in the morning. And because of that, I'm not able to get in a third round this week. Boy, it's really windy today. I'm not able to get in my third round this week because I'm not able to get this. This load should have been delivered this morning, but because of the unexpected delay yesterday, it's not going to deliver till tomorrow morning, which means I'll get a load to come back and deliver that, you know, maybe Saturday morning before I go home for a whole 20 hours I'll be home for. So like I said, I was really expecting to have 3 rounds this week. But yeah, I just happened to get in. I just happened to pull in behind one truck at the washout that needed 3 hours to wash it out, and it caused me to show up here and half an hour late. Cost me $3,000 additional for the week. So it hurts a little bit, man. So it's been a stressful week because of stupid stuff, you know. So the whole time I was sitting there getting loaded this morning, which took about took all morning. Shouldn't have, because the product should have been ready anyways. But I was stressing out all morning, man. I finally feel good now that I'm driving with the load on my truck. So I'm not gonna even comment on how the truck is doing. I'm just not gonna do that. Just not even gonna do that. That would go against the whole title of this video. So we're on the road though, and my next stop is to get some fuel, and then we'll be on our way to New Jersey, I guess. That's the plan as of now, but it seems like nothing's been going to plan this week. See, something else they did to the truck. A new reservoir. Clean it up for me. So now I'm good to go there. Take another good look at our differential. As soon as I'm done eating, I will go over the itemized invoice for what was done to the truck this past week, so you can hear all that fun stuff. But first I'm going to chow down on this delicious trucker breakfast. So, as delicious as it can be, I guess. There it is. See, I have not eaten in days, so I've eaten a little bit, but I haven't actually had a full, like an actual meal in a couple of days. This should be good. Like I said, after I'm done eating, I'm going to go ahead and go over the list of what, you know, what we had done to the truck, and give you kind of a real time what you have to deal with out here sometimes when you buy a truck. So let me enjoy this breakfast first, and then I'll get back to you. We're just watching the Car Wizard on YouTube. I like that guy. He's cool. Alrighty. Have you ever watched him before? The Car Wizard? Him and Hoovie's Garage. I love those channels. Hoovie's Garage and, of course, Doug DeMiro. I like those channels. They're fun. They're cool to watch. Anyways, here's the itemized list. Okay, that's a copy. So, 2 papers. 2 pages. Oh. 2 pages. Now, to be fair, the first page was a service that I had done the day before. With some other things I had done. Some things I had checked. And we'll start with that. Because it's all in the same thing. Because I hadn't paid him for that yet. So, it's all in the same, well, same thing here. So, okay, we got the oil filter, fuel filter kit, metal seal 7th injector. There you go. Yep. See, they took the 7th injector out, which 7th injector is the injector that is front or behind the turbo. Behind the turbo. It's when it does a regen. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. The 7th injector dumps extra fuel into the exhaust to get it hotter, I think is how that works during a regen. So they checked that because I've been having that check engine light, so they checked that. Let's see, of course, chassis grease. That's just the basic PM stuff. Pressure hose kit. That was broken. That was down on that was that picture that I showed in my last video of that hose that was broken on the one box. And of course, what they did on here, it says performed a PMB service on tractor completely. Checked out problem with truck derating and found hose blown from pressure sensor and ordered a D-pick dup. Oh, it's the way it's spaced. A typo. Ordered and picked up and replaced both hoses. We'll see what happens, and we'll clean DPF and DOC filter if problem is not fixed. So there's that. That was just the basic stuff. And the subtotal on that one for that ordeal was $1,087. Let's see here. Next page. This is the big one. So $1,087. Now we've got here we go. We got the front diff 331 ratio. That part alone cost $3,995. Synthetic gear oil, $6.85 a pint, $246 for all of the gear oil they used. Bearing and race set on each end of the axle. Wheel seal, Lucas additive. I asked them to add some Lucas additive to the differentials. Temp sensor, DPF. They put a new yoke on the drive shaft where it goes into the front differential. Rear diff bolt. That was only $9. Sublet to bake and blast DPF and dock filters. That right there alone was $600. DPF gasket was $70 because there's 2 filters. Each gasket was $35. Bolt clamp and gasket DPF, that was $290. Let's see here. Cap screw grade 8 SE flat washer. Of course, here's what they did. Remove and replace front diff assembly and remove and replaced wheel bearings, races, and seals. Had to replace bad end yoke and reassembled completely and filled with new synthetic gear oil and put pint of Lucas in front and rear diffs. Removed and sent out def and dock filters and had cleaned and reinstalled. That one had a subtotal of $8,500. So you combine those two, $8,500 and $187, you're right about $9,600. And then on top of that, we had a $1,300 tow bill. So now you are sitting at just under $11,000. And then the rental of the truck, because even though the rental of the truck, you're not going to necessarily see that exchanged, because the truck belongs to the company that I leased to. Therefore, they just take it out of my settlement at the end of the week. But it's still factored in there because it has to do with this problem. So that was, altogether, that's going to be about $800 for the rental. And so right there, you're looking at just under $12,000 for everything. And you want to be an owner-operator? Alrighty. That was it. That was the whole shebang right there. But, I haven't taken it across PA yet. I'm going to do that today. We're at a Flying J right now. I just filled up with diesel. And, I got to be in Elizabeth for tomorrow morning. So we'll go ahead and see how this does going across 80. Like I said, I'm still expecting to get that same code even after the filters were cleaned. He said they were pretty dirty. He said they were pretty darn dirty. So, all we can do is see, Something else that code will come up for sometimes is bad fuel injectors. The fuel injectors, though, they said nothing led them down that path. I specifically asked, I said, could this be a problem with the fuel injectors? And they said, no, nothing led them down that path. He said he's pretty darn sure it's the filters, as dirty as they were. And as long as I've gone without cleaning them. So, I just thought there was a specific code that would come up if the filters were, in dire need of being cleaned. But he said those codes could come up for that as well. So we'll give it a shot and we'll see. Fingers crossed. But I'll tell you what, guys, if nothing else happens, then this will be the end of the vlog. And I hope you all have a good one out there. Be safe. If it pops back up, I'll probably be back on here in about 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the check engine light came back on. Who knows what it is? Like I said earlier, it could be anything with that one box. So I might just be done messing with it. It might be going bye-bye. I hate to do it. That's the problem with these one boxes on these trucks, is once they start having problems, they're gone. And the government wants to force you to keep this shit. The government wants to force you to keep the crap on here. But once they start having problems, it's just over. Unless you get rid of them. They're just nothing but a problem. Nothing but a problem. One problem after the other. You can put thousands of dollars into it, and just short of buying a whole new one box. Like I said, for 13 grand is outrageous for one of those things. So anyways, I have interjected myself at the end of this video because I told you I would if that check engine light came back on, and sure enough it did. I guess the next thing is just to see if it helped at all, see if I can get further before it comes back on than I did before, because I noticed I was getting smaller and smaller distances before it would come back on. So we'll see how far I get this time before it comes back. But we'll see you all later. So take care, be safe, and we'll talk to you guys another time.